In the bustling heart of Owerri, where high-life music spills from open bars and the air is thick with the aroma of roasted plantain and suya, lived a young man named Obinna Okafor, a man whose life was a mosaic of pain, healing, and redemption. Obinna, fondly called Obi City by his friends, was well known in the city for his booming logistics business and signature laughter that could fill a room. But behind the vibrant energy and polished shoes was a story few knew, a story of scars, silence, and ultimately, salvation. Born and raised in Umuahia before relocating to Owerri for school and later business, Obinna was the first son of a devout Anglican family, raised with discipline, Sunday school, and Proverbs. His father, Chief Nathan Okafor, was a retired principal known for his strict morals, while his mother, Mama Ngozi, was the type who prayed in tongues while cooking bitter leaf soup. But behind their carefully maintained image was a household weighed down by fear. From the age of 8 until he turned 12, Obinna suffered years of quiet torment at the hands of a family driver named Majabuchi, a man trusted by the family and seen as one of us. Threatened into silence and too afraid to speak out, Obinna carried his trauma like a wound stitched beneath the skin, invisible but bleeding. He excelled in school, not because he was at peace, but because excellence gave him a sense of control. At Federal Polytechnic Nikid, he studied business administration and began a small courier service with just one motorcycle. People admired his hustle, his charisma, his charm, but they didn't know he couldn't sleep in silence. Every quiet moment reminded him of the whispered threats, the locked doors, the shame. Obinna tried church, he tried alcohol, he tried women, he tried laughter, anything to drown the voice in his head that told him he was damaged. It wasn't until his 28th birthday, in a candlelit service at a Pentecostal church called Streams of Grace, tucked behind the crowded streets of Wetara Road, that everything shifted. That night, the guest preacher, a woman named Prophetess Ifeoma, paused mid-sermon and said, "There is someone here who has built an empire on top of buried pain. God says it is time to speak." Not just to him, but to the world. Obinna froze in his seat. It felt like a sword pierced his soul. The words unlocked something inside him, and for the first time in 20 years, he wept uncontrollably in public. That night, he didn't go home. He sat in his car until morning, staring at the wheel, and then he made a decision that would change everything. He would tell his story. The following week, Obinna stood before the youth fellowship at Streams of Grace and shared what had happened to him. The room fell silent. For many, it was shocking, not because of the content, but because a man had spoken. In a culture where men were expected to be unbreakable, hearing a successful, confident Igbo man confess to surviving abuse shattered stereotypes and opened floodgates. After the service, 5 other young men approached him privately and, longer ashamed, the crowd roared. Healing, once a hidden, whispered process, was now a public celebration. But healing was not linear. Obinna had to face his parents, too. When he told them the truth, his mother collapsed in disbelief. His father wept for the first time in Obinna's memory. Chief Okafor admitted he had noticed Obinna's odd behaviors as a child but chose not to question them. "I thought you were just stubborn," he whispered, broken. Forgiveness didn't come easily, but it came. The family underwent counseling together, and for the first time in decades, their home became a safe space, not a shrine to reputation, but a place of honesty and love. Majabuchi, the abuser, was long gone, relocated to Abidjan, but Obinna found peace in naming him, even if the law could not punish him. In Igbo culture, names hold power, and saying the name of one's pain is the first step to conquering it. Obinna's story inspired a wave of truth-tellers across eastern Nigeria. Radio stations in Onitsha dedicated airtime to testimonies. Churches created healing corners. Universities began offering trauma-informed counseling. Even traditional rulers in villages began allowing healing circles in their communities. Slowly, the tide turned. The culture that once silenced now listened. The shame that once buried now bloomed into courage. Obinna was invited to speak at TEDx Enugu, where he ended his talk with a line that would become his mantra: "Truth is not a wound, it is a weapon of healing." That year, Ụzọ Ụgwọ partnered with international NGOs, gaining grants to expand their work. They built a community center in Owerri called Nchita New Remembrance of Life, where survivors could learn skills, receive therapy, and find support. By age 32, Obinna was no longer just obesity. He had become a voice, a vessel, a bridge. His story, once a private hell, had become a public bomb. The city that once echoed with the weight of unspoken pain now vibrated with songs of resilience. Children danced again in freedom. Women laughed without fear. Men wept without shame. And Obinna, standing on the rooftop of his new healing center in the heart of Owerri, looked out at the city lights glittering like candles in the night and smiled. His heart, once broken, now beat with purpose. For in telling the truth, he had not only healed himself, he had ignited a movement, proving that healing is not just about forgetting the past, but transforming it into a testimony that sets others free.